Oh, the nectars have arrived. We're in Henry's Bread and Wine in Castlereagh Street. Let me give you a quick look around. There's my large flat white. A delightful little bar here. So bread and wine obviously during the day and at night. And in the morning you can come and have a delicious nectar like I'm about to have now. So that's where we are. Henry's Bread and Wine in Castlereagh Street. See you soon when we start the walk.
It only plays American games. It doesn't play Australian ones.
Hey guys, HW. Just stepping off this sandstone fence here at Hyde Park. Finished the nectar over at Henry's in Castlereagh Street just a few moments ago. Left my mate, he's heading back to work. But what I'm planning to do today for you is I'm going to walk down a little part of Park Street here next to Hyde Park, and then I'm going to walk down William Street. And the reason why I'm doing that is a lot of tourists seem to take this walk when they're in Sydney, so I thought I'd tread the same footsteps as them. It's a beautiful day in Sydney today. Beautiful crisp morning, blue skies. See some of the European trees in Hyde Park. They're starting to brown over as we get deeper into autumn. It's 19 degrees Celsius, 66 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind's from the southwest, so at some parts of the city it's quite breezy and cool. Might as well film a little bit of Hyde Park as we skip down this part of Park Street. Here's a part of Park Street where the two halves of Hyde Park meet. Park Street dissects it. Quickly just have a quick look up these stairs for you. There you go. Delightful fountain right at the end there, if you can see it. I had to get away from my laptop this morning. Going to be quite busy this afternoon. It's been an absolute terrible week for HW. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, my dog passed away. He was only young. We only picked it up at the start of COVID. And unfortunately, so just over 3 years old, and unfortunately picked up lymphoma. And if you don't know, you should know that that's a form of cancer. But if you don't, there you go. And we had him on steroids for a while, and that was giving him some comfort, reducing the inflammation down. But on Tuesday I had the terrible task of digging his grave and then taking him along to the vet to pay an exorbitant amount to get some needles into him to put him out of his misery. So again, not a real great week I've had, but this beautiful day today is cheering me up. Here we are, we're back. We're looking towards St Mary's Cathedral. Sun's probably shadowing it out a bit. In the winter time, they usually have an ice skating rink. Let's have a quick look down there and see if they've got it under construction, ready for winter when it does arrive. Nah, looks like they've got a bit of a market stall happening. So not time to put in the skating rink yet. There's the Australian Museum over there that we can see in the background. So when we crossed the road there, we actually crossed into William Street. Just trying to talk a bit louder than over that truck.
It's like way farther.
So yeah, I don't think I said what I was going to do. So yeah, walk Park Street into William Street and up towards the cross, and then I'm going to turn down into Woolloomooloo, walk the streets of Woolloomooloo back to the Domain and probably finish up around there. So that'll be the walk for today. As that breeze kicks up, it's quite cool on my face. There's the Hyde Park Hotel over the corner over there. Looks like they've got a rooftop bar. I've never noticed that before. I wonder what that's like of a night. Can we cross here without getting run over? Look back towards the city quickly. Centrepoint Tower through the trees there. I only noticed the other day, or in the last video, that they changed the name from Centrepoint to Sydney Tower. But I'll always know it as Centrepoint Tower, so they can stick it. Here goes the tourist bus. Not many people up the top deck today. Just about to cross over Riley Street. That guy jogging past has reminded me about the City to Surf, which is one of the biggest fun runs in the world. This is the route that the run takes at the start. Makes its way up this way, through the tunnels underneath Darlinghurst, King's Cross, and down to Double Bay, Rose Bay, Vaucluse, and around to Bondi Beach. The other day I had the silly idea to run it again. I've run it about at least 10 to a dozen times, and I thought I might do a fancy dress run this year and film it, but then I thought about it. It's like, it is 14 Ks, and running 14 Ks in a fancy dress and having a GoPro strapped to me didn't sound really appealing, so I think I might give it a miss. This building up here, that big building you see, the apartment building, the mate that I just had coffee with, he used to live in that building. He was sponging off someone who was, wait for the noisy bus to go past, he was living there sponging off someone who was renting one of the sub penthouses up there. It's got some delightful views, let me tell you. Yeah, so as I said before, William Street, you'll see a lot of tourists walking between King's Cross and the city. There's always been a number of backpackers around this area and up in King's Cross. So they use William Street to traverse backwards and forwards between their accommodation and the sights of the city, and so that's why I wanted to do this walk today. Oh, excuse me. This coffee shop in here serves one of my favourite roasters, double roasters of Marrickville. I'll have to remember that one for next time I walk past here. Back in the old days, all this part of William Street overnight used to be lined with assortment of hookers. A lot of them what would be the right word to say these days, would be transsexual, I suppose. That's probably not the right term, but they cleaned them up, got them off the streets a couple of decades ago now. People used to drive their cars out from the west of Sydney and do a tour up and down William Street and into the Cross for something to do. Then we'd gawk at all the workers along the road and then drive into the Cross itself to see the nightlife. This No Birds car rental, it's been in this location for a long time now. Seven-day special, $45. $45 a day, including all kilometres. It doesn't tell you how many kilometres that is. It doesn't say all kilometres. It just says kilometres. So, oh, there someone's just picked one up. We've almost made it up to the cross. And as I was walking up here, I just remembered something. Just remembered a side over the other side of the road, over towards Darlinghurst, that you might find interesting. So I might skip over there quickly before I walk through the back of the cross. There's the Coke sign. Alright, this is the side I wanted to show you. I'm just walking down a little cul-de-sac street in Darlinghurst, and I'm going to show you where the famous Australian movie producer, director lived in Sydney, where his house was. And this was it here. This home in here was where Baz Luhrmann used to live. Right smack bang in the centre of Darlinghurst. And it's got a number of different wings to it. You can see that one over there as well. It's in a nice cul-de-sac. It's supposed to be surrounded by some pretty magnificent gardens, and I can see some big palm trees in there. But yeah, that's where Baz Luhrmann lived. And what was his latest movie? Elvis. He did the Elvis movie, and then before that there was the likes of Strictly Ballroom, Australia. And what was one of the other ones? Romeo and Juliet. So I believe they live in New York now. He and his costume designer wife, Catherine Martin. It's a pretty handy spot. You can walk to the city, not far from St Vincent's Hospital, and down to Darlinghurst Road. Down here you got all the cafes and restaurants. So I'll just stop the camera here and I'll start it back up when I get back to the cross. Alright, I've made it back to the cross. Starting under the Coca-Cola sign. a big group of people that we just walked past. Apparently they're part of some tour of the cross. I'm just walking down Victoria Street here. Back in the old days, this used to be a bit of a rat run to avoid the traffic on William Street if you were heading to the city from the eastern suburbs. Guy back there is collecting the cans to get the 10-cent refund. Yeah, so you used to be able to sneak through here, and now they've closed it off. See, the cycle couriers have taken over now. They use them to get around. Many a time HW drove down here on my way to the Harbour Bridge to get across to North Sydney when I worked over there. And then if I remember rightly, you turn down this street, which I don't know what it is. I can't remember. Hey, look at these old terraces here. Tiny little ones squashed together at the back of the cross. Looks like something you'd find in Italy. In some old Italian town in the countryside. Here's where the train comes out of the tunnel in between King's Cross Station, which is under these buildings over here, and makes its way over to Martin Place Station. So Bondi Junction, Eastern Suburbs rail line. These joints over here with their city views would be quite expensive, I'd say. These people are still using it as a way to get onto William Street. Shortcut onto William Street. So now we're starting to get into Woolloomooloo. Moved away from the cross. I'd turn down this street. Got the old Fitzroy pub directly in front of us. I don't know whether it's this pub or the one further down the street. They're a pub that doesn't have poker machines, slot machines, which is quite nice, I think. I don't know whether it's this one or whether it's the other one around the corner, or maybe both of them. Nice little spot to sit outside and have a beer. What's this joint? I have no idea what's in that building. It might be part of the pub. Some more terraces over this side of the road. These ones are a bit Bit strange, they don't have a door. They don't have a door on the street, must be on the other side. Wow, look at that laneway. Oh, this little terraces down there. Someone's got the music playing loud over there. Oh, this is a hive of activity over here. Plenty of people over there with their bunnies shirts on and their bunnies jumpers. Good on them. Passing under the rail bridge again. In this area down here, there used to be a couple of men's hostels. Oh yeah, there it is. They're still there. Matthew Talbot Hostel. So you usually see a few homeless people around here attempting to get in there for the night, or maybe they've got room for all of them now. You don't really see that many homeless in Sydney anymore. I think most of them manage to get into those sort of hostels overnight, unless they've got mental health issues, and they probably don't make it in. They're probably happy to stay in the park. You know what? I've changed my mind. Instead of going up into the Domain, I might just keep heading straight to the back of St Mary's Cathedral, and then head through Hyde Park and join up with the city again. Start off again. Just getting into Cathedral Street. This place on the corner here used to be a bagel shop. Used to make bagels in there. I used to always laugh at the slogan they had on the outside. It said, I think it said something along the lines of the worst bagels ever, by some guy on Facebook or something like that. But apparently they were pretty good bagels, so it's just a little slogan they used to get people's attention. It might actually be this hotel that doesn't have the poker machines. The East Sydney Hotel, or the Shamrock Hotel. That cheeky little barber's there. And there's another hairdresser's. Plenty of little shops in this street for lease. And a few empty ones on this side that I'm on as well. There she is. I can see St Mary's Cathedral. Oh, there's a green light. Gotta run. I'm tempted to get into the main car park and use that movator to get up the hill, but I won't. I'll refrain. Because you've seen that before in my Sydney Underground video. Oh, but there's a door there. Could easily sneak in there. Nah. Don't be lazy, HW. Keep walking. So there's the Sydney's Domain Park on that side, and St Mary's Cathedral School, St Mary's Cathedral, the church itself, and then the accommodation for the nuns and priests. You know what? Let's finish off the vid by walking into the grounds of St Mary's Cathedral and see what those market stalls are all about. Let's walk up these stairs and walk around the outside of the cathedral. Lovely big sandstone blocks, look at that. Pretty sure this is the accommodation for the clergymen and women over here, or the priests and the nuns. They're holding a mass in there now. There's buildings over there. There's William Street on the way up to King's Cross where we were before. Oh, looks like there's a few people lined up for the food on offer down here. Looks like it's an outdoor food market. It's passing by St Mary's Cathedral. Oh. It's got something to do with the Sydney Half Marathon. Must be where you register. Yeah, looks like a registration spot for the half marathon that's coming up.
I'm gonna bring some lollies.
After 44 hours.
When's the marathon?
Sorry?
When's the marathon?
It's a half. It's on Sunday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
There you go, it's on Sunday. Just all running stuff and running nutrition on offer down here. There's an athlete's foot shoe shop over there. Get your runners sorted out for the big run. Sunglasses. Got everything down here. So ladies from the Red Cross, blood donations. So that woman was pretty keen to tell me that it was a half marathon. All right, we're back where we started the walk in Hyde Park. I want to thank you for taking the skirt around the city with me this morning on a crisp autumn morning in Sydney. Hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll see you in the next vid. The video is over.